I know there's certain songs on there, Big Barn Bed, that I can remember as being really good grooves, you know. And also, the guys in the band at that time, Henry McCulloch and Denny Laine, were great musicians too. You know, they were really good. And the development of Henry's solos and you know, I mean, Denny, you can just watch Denny Laine play the drums and go, you know, wow, he's got all that feel and technique and just on his own. And that's what comes across to me on that album. We sounded like we were more polished, you know. And it was more of a production as opposed to the other thing we were talking about. So it was more of a production, hence Glyn Johns was his percentage being in there made it that. And I think we were ready to do that. That's what it was. You know, but as I say, I don't listen to stuff that much. But when I actually heard a couple of things from it not long ago, and I was aware of the good quality of the production. I think, you know, one thing about Paul is he always gets pretty good sounds, you know. I mean, when we did the Buddy Holly album, which he did for me, he'd done the same thing with equipment. I went up there and he'd virtually got the backing tracks ready. And it was all him, you know. It was right in your face, you know. It was there. Like the old Beatles records were. They were like mono, but they were there, you know. You weren't like, what's going on there? You could hear everything, you know. And I think that album had an element of that. But again, it was the band that got better, and that helped it, you know. We were tighter. He said that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the writer has every right to say that, you know, because we're all like that. We kind of, you look at it, you do it, it comes out at the top of your head. And then you look at it later and you go, oh, well, you know, I'm not too keen on what I was trying to say there, or I didn't get it across quite there. But everybody else is kind of understanding it for the first time, you know. And what you don't realise is it's better than you think, you know, because you're always critical of your own stuff. You're the one who's lived with it, and they're hearing it for the first time, so they pick up on, oh, this is cool, you know, I like where he's going with this. Not so much, you know, whether it's the best song you've ever written or the best production. It's what you're trying to put across is what they pick up on. You know, that's the underlying thing of anything creative. You know what I mean? It's the passion underneath it, and the fact it's coming off your top of your head right there and then. You know, and we were able to pick up on that as a band, as musicians. You know, and just say, oh, cool, got this. You know, no problem. And if it flowed with the band, it works. You know, if the band don't like it, can't play it properly, it's not a good one. So Paul puts that in mind when he's writing for a band or writing a song that these guys are going to be playing on. He's thinking about them too. Oh, that's where Henry's going to play a solo, something like this. You know, and then you kind of, you know what you're going to get at the end of the day. And then everybody just kind of jumps in and gives it their best, you know. I mean, it's like My Love, for example. I mean, we played that live, and I played bass. It was live with an orchestra, and Henry played like a great solo, you know, just off the top of his head going. I mean, probably thought about it a little bit. But it was the performance, you know, that made that thing. And with I always keep saying Band on the Run. With that Red Rose Speedway situation, it was that the band had developed like as players, and we could bounce off one another more. You know, there was no nervousness there. You know, we weren't kind of like you've just met. You know, we better not try too hard here. You know, or we better just be cool. We'd opened up by then.